Hey, friends. If you're here watching the replay, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Svava Brooks. I am a trauma recovery coach, and I love to hang out here on Periscope and YouTube most weeks, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where I hang out with my friends, fellow survivor thrivers, as we work our way through my book, one day, one page at a time. If you'd like to join the conversation, if you're here live, please say hello. Please let us know you're here. And if you're on Periscope, the YouTube link is in my Periscope profile. That will take you right to our chat and our live conversation here on YouTube. But if you're here, any questions about healing and recovery after trauma or abuse, I welcome your questions, your comments. And our conversation here is heart to heart. Heart to heart, and we welcome you to be with us wherever you are at and wherever you are on your journey. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey friends, how are we doing today? What's new and good? What's new and good? My apologies for not being here on Tuesday. Had a rough day on Tuesday, but I'm back. So how are you guys? Hey, friend. How are you, Rob? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. I heard from my other UK friend earlier that she is going to go to bed early tonight. That's right, Rob. That's right. Some days we just have to, right, time out and take care of ourselves, right? Isn't that what we're talking about here? Most days, right? It's all about self-care, self-kindness, self-compassion. Hey, Wanda, good to see you, friend. How are you doing? Wanda joined in on the conversation earlier today. I was chatting with my colleague, Deborah, about self-compassion and self-care. Some of those concepts that we throw around. Oh, I just need to be kinder to myself. Ooh, I need to just practice more self-love and self-compassion. Yeah, it was a challenge in the beginning. I had no idea where to even begin. But the good news is, right, we can learn. We can learn. So how are you doing today, Wanda? Thank you for your beautiful comment on Facebook earlier today. I've been sharing a few testimonies on social media lately. I just finished, a few of you know, I teach tension and trauma release, TRE classes. Do that also one-on-one with my clients. Anybody is interested in learning about tension and trauma release. I just finished up a 3-session class here in Portland, and it went really, really well. And I got some feedback from a few people, and I'm excited to share it with others because I'm scheduled to do another round in March. So it was all beautiful comments. My favorite, I think, I have to share with you guys my favorite. And this is where I love what I do, that I get to empower people with knowledge about themselves, because you, my friend, have no idea how powerful you are and how, right, that you already come fully equipped with everything that you need to heal and restore, right, your body and your mind and your spirit. But this older gentleman who joined me for the TRE sessions, and he sent me a testimony and feedback. And he's probably 70 something, so not too old. A good age, right? But had a stroke. So part of his body was limited mobility. And so even in the second session, he was lit up. His face was just beaming in like this, oh my goodness, I am feeling things in my body that I have never or not felt in a long, long, long time. So I was so excited about that for him. And then the feedback that he emailed me just a couple of days ago was that he actually has learned something about himself that he had never known before. So that's the power of our bodies, right? It's like we are so capable of protecting ourselves, right? Our nervous system. Yeah, exactly, Wanda. Right? Our nervous system is so beautifully like capable and set up to keep us safe. And even to the point that, right, it disconnects us from some knowings, some memories, some awarenesses about ourselves that maybe we couldn't handle at the time. But TRE helps us to release some of that tension, and with that sometimes brings up into our awareness some things about ourselves that maybe we simply didn't know or we haven't felt in a long time. So hey Sharon, so cold. Oh my goodness, 25 there. I've been freezing over here, but I don't think it's that cold. So yes, thank you, Rob. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I was so happy for this older gentleman to learn something new about himself. Hey, Rachel. Hey, friend. Good to see you. How are you doing? You guys are so creative with the emojis. I love it. I love it. Loving all those roses and hearts and smiley faces. Just beautiful. I'll stop complaining. It's 52 here and you thought you were going to freeze. No, Wanda, right? That is cold, Sharon. 25. That is freezing. Absolutely freezing. So here, just a quick to my Periscope friends. I am also chatting to my YouTube friends. So if you'd like to be a part of the live chat over there, the link to my YouTube channel is in my Periscope profile. So I'm glad you're here. Welcome to join the conversation, chat anytime. So you have a cold, but you're here. Good. Well, I was saying I was not feeling well on Tuesday, and that's why I was not here on Tuesday. But I'm here now. And I was just thinking earlier, I can't believe it's Thursday already. This week went by like that. All right, Rob says he doesn't know what we're talking about because he works in Celsius. 25 Celsius, that would be nice and toasty, wouldn't it? You'd be out in your shorts, going fishing, camping for sure, Rob, right? That's like a heat wave in Iceland. 25 Celsius. So someone needs to convert for Rob. Convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit, or from Fahrenheit to Celsius. You got to Google it, Rob. Just Google it. While you do that, I'm going to set up our conversation today. So today we are on day 51 in the book, right? 365 days, one day, one page at a time on page 51. And each page is independent. So don't worry if you don't have the page. I'm going to set up the chat, the conversation, and then the couple of questions that I ask. And feel free to join us wherever you are. So to move from abuse survivor to thriver, you need to determine where you are on your healing journey, right? It's important to have a map, right? To know, okay, this is where I was, this is where I am, and this is where I'm going, right? So that's important to put out there because this is not to compare ourselves, to beat ourselves up, to should ourselves, right? That we aren't there or here or somewhere else or should be doing something different. Honor yourself by accepting you are right here, right now, and this is exactly where you need to be. Give yourself that grace. Be very kind to yourself. Right here, right now is exactly where you need to be. So the two questions that I'm asking today of our community: do you see yourself as a victim, a survivor, or are you on your way to thriving? Hey, friend. The second question is, if you feel stuck today on your healing journey, what has happened to make you feel that way? So think about that, right? Do you see yourself as a victim, a survivor, or are you on your way to thriving? And the second question, if you feel stuck on your healing journey, what has happened to make you feel that way? So I'd love to hear from you guys. And I'm going back and forth here between two windows. So I knew you guys would still be over here talking about the weather. I understand, Rob. I understand. See, there you go. It's minus. So 25 Fahrenheit is -3 Celsius. Thank you, Sharon. Hey, our friend here on Periscope, I'm on my way to thriving. That's awesome. Congratulations. That's awesome, my friend. Good job. And remember, right, we can, like, healing isn't really linear, and that's why I try to be careful when I put out these things as if one step comes after the other, because it's more like we go in circles sometimes, and sometimes it feels like we're slowly lifting up, coming out of the hole, so to speak, but then sometimes it feels like we're spiraling down a little bit. So yes, healing after trauma or abuse, I think any growth isn't a linear process, right? And it makes sense because we are complex systems. We're put together of many systems, right? It isn't just like, right, how we operate. It's just a straight shoot, right? So again, if you want to share with us where you're at on your journey, we'd love to hear. I also want to say, when I identified with where I was on the journey, if I was kind of stuck in the victim phase or in the survivor phase, which I know I was in for a long time, right? And it was kind of that wake up call of, wait a minute, okay, I think there is more than just surviving, right? And again, that can apply to different things that you're working on your healing journey. You can have it's like the developmental stages as we go through as children. And I know some of us missed out on those stages, unfortunately, because of our trauma. But there are certain stages or some things that we master along the way. And then there are other things that we are challenged with or challenged by. So nobody's perfect. Nobody is going to have it all or be all put together, have it all figured out all the time, always. So it's to be mindful of that. Okay. Hold on. I'm going to see here. Applying myself professionally has been caused some disruption in thriving lately. Bingo, my friend. There it is. There it is. Well, I want to celebrate you for stepping out of your comfort zone. I hear you. I hear you, my friend. It causes disruption, right? Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. And that's also why it's good to sometimes challenge ourselves a little bit. But sometimes when we do, it can rock the boat a little bit in some of the other things that we're doing, but it's just temporary. Remember, it's just temporary. You're just stretching, right? And when you step out of your comfort zone, you are expanding your whole system, all your systems. So don't lose hope, my friend. Keep going steady. and keep, celebrating each of those steps. But what I was about to say is that once I identified those stages, you got it, was that I also realized that I did not want to have anything with being a victim, right? And we live in a culture where being a victim is stigmatized, that we are seen as weak if we're victims, and that we are afraid of, right, how people are going to see us. And I can tell you, I have done a lot of public speaking about being a survivor of childhood sexual abuse, and do a lot of trainings about child sexual abuse prevention. Been doing that for about 15 years. And I can tell you, right, it is very real that sometimes when you stand up and you tell people your story, right, in the context of what's being shared, right, in a safe space or acceptable forum, if you will, that you can watch it. You can watch people's thoughts, right? You can see, I don't know if I was being too hypersensitive, but maybe sometimes they're judgments about you, about, right, who you are, now that they know this about you. And victim blaming, it's so deeply ingrained and like been so normalized in our cultures that I don't think people even sometimes recognize their own thoughts about it. Yes, we can feel the energy, like how people shift, how their energy changes when they know, or when we share, yes, I was a victim of childhood sexual abuse, right? I was abused by so-and-so from this time to this time. Right. So I have to admit, it took me some years of public speaking until I'm like, it doesn't bother me anymore. But for a while, I was sensitive to it. But the good news is that more and more are speaking publicly, sharing openly, and recognize the shame that we felt, the guilt that we felt. It wasn't my shame, wasn't my guilt, really wasn't my burden or my secret. I hear you, friend, and you are not alone. You are not alone. We are all sensitive to it in some ways, right? We care a little bit about what people think about us, of course. But now that I know the truth about this and I've healed my shame, right? It doesn't get in the way. Exactly. But I also wanted to say that it was, I was so quick to declare I'm a survivor, right? I was very quick because I did not want to identify as a victim. But it is important that we don't skip that stage. Yes, we have to accept, right, that we were victimized. We were victims. We were abused. We were hurt. And so I went back, even though I had declared and in many ways felt like a survivor. But I had to go back and really accept and feel the hurt of being a victim, to allow myself the grace and the safe space to feel, right? So I really wanted to emphasize that. So if you are, feeling in some ways, if you can relate, just remember, because the reason why we keep coming back and sometimes feeling stuck is because we are rushing through a stage. We're not wanting the discomfort with the hurt, with feeling our feelings, with accepting the truth, maybe accepting the parts of ourselves that weren't right, the things that we did as we acted out. So I really want to emphasize that. So whether you are in the stage of feeling like a victim, right? It's like you never go back. It's like can I give you guys an example, right? Because if this is a new trauma, right, it's like it's very present that you were victimized. And the example that's coming to mind is, some of you guys remember a couple years ago, a few years ago, my car was stolen, right? And it impacted me in a deep way, because it was literally taking out of our parking lot, next to my garage, which is kind of like on the other side of my bedroom. So first, right, I think I kind of blew it off. I kind of minimized it. And then I recognized like a week later that I had been traumatized by it. Like it impacted me. Like I went into a little bit of like numbness. Like I was numb from just the realization that, when something that belongs to you, you are being betrayed, your boundaries are being violated, right? So I had to go back and allow myself to grieve, even though part of me felt silly. It's just a car, or the insurance covered it. It wasn't, nobody got hurt, right? All that stuff. Like I was, being hard on myself for being a victim. So I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't feel like I can heal from this or move on, or my body can let go of the holding here until I accept how it impacted me. So allowing myself to grieve. Exactly. Not ignore my feelings, because I could feel that trying to ignore it was not working. It was actually hurting me more. I did not feel good. So I cried about it, had my anger and outrage about it, right? In a safe place. And then I felt better. The same thing goes for us on the healing journey. So I'm going to pause here and take a look at your comments here. There you go. Wanda says, until I connected to you, I thought being a survivor was it. I felt like life should be more, but I didn't know that. Good. I hear you. I hear you, Wanda. And that was me too, Wanda, for years. I was like, yes, I'm a survivor. Awesome, awesome, right? And then I was like, no, survivor felt like I was just going through the motion every day, just surviving, right? Just getting through the day, just getting through the to-do list. It's like, there has to be more here, right? Wanda also says here, now that I think back, I never said I was a victim. I always said I was abused, or I am a survivor. Well, Wanda, I think that's something to think about, my friend, to consider, right? To maybe do some journaling around that. She says, yeah, that may be what's missing for me. I've never processed being victimized. I hear you, friend. I hear you. And I hope you apply some self-compassion here. Because like I said, and I can still remember when I kind of dug deep into this. Thank you. You're getting some love here, Wanda, from our friend. Is it Trillac? I'm sorry, on Periscope. Katrilla, thank you. Okay, I'm writing that down. Katrilla is sending love to you, Wanda. Thank you, friend. Like I said, I can still remember once I've recognized that, oh, wait a minute. It was like and that's what we trauma survivors, we do, right? It's like, and that's what, trauma does. It disconnects you. It helps you numb. And, we do whatever we can to avoid or minimize or distract, because who wants to go back to that, right? Who wants to remember that? But again, as we talk about a lot here, feeling it isn't necessarily remembering everything, but it's coming back to what's present. What part of your past is still showing up in the present moment, and start with that. So Wanda, encourage you maybe to do some journaling around that. Take that back to your therapist or sit with your inner child, right? So Wanda says, that makes sense. It explains why it's such a big deal if something as small as an ink pen is taken from me. Yes. Yes, Wanda. Exactly. Right? It's just one more of those things that nobody cares. Right? That here I am being abused. I'm being victimized. And nobody cares, right? Or I can't talk about it, or I'm not allowed to have my feelings about it. So something to think about. And again, I can still remember when that really impacted me, or how it impacted me when I had that aha moment, that wait a minute, I really skipped as fast as I could. I'm not a victim. No, you are not a victim, but you were victimized, right? These are two separate things. What happened to you, who you are, not the same. So I'm going to turn to the page here and see a few of our friends shared their journal entries for today. Thank you, Sharon. She's on her way home. Going to go grab dinner. Enjoy your food. Stay warm. Good to see you, Sharon. So let's see here. On our Facebook page, Wanda gave me permission to share her journal entry for today. She says, this is a question I ask myself very often. Maybe I should put up the questions again for people who are just joining us. We are talking about, right, where you are on your journey. Do you see yourself as a victim, a survivor, or are you on your way to thriving? And the second question is, if you feel stuck on your healing journey, what has happened to make you feel that way? And if you'd like to comment and share with us, we'd love to hear from you. And remember, wherever you're at, you're exactly where you need to be. So there are no shoulds here. Wanda says, this is a question I ask myself very often. I believe I'm on my way to thriving, although some days are harder than others. And yes, I am still triggered, and in some situations, I may even disassociate. But the difference today is I do not carry the shame I once did when the hard feelings show up. The length of time I isolate is shorter and less frequently. When I question where I'm at on my journey, it's usually around my body, how it looks, and the way I take care of it. But even my reaction in those moments are different today. Beautiful, Wanda. Beautiful woman. Right? It's like, absolutely. You are taking those daily steps, setting that daily intention to take care of yourself, to move yourself forward. Hey, friend, to move yourself forward from, right, accepting what happened in the past, realizing you are surviving. Where are you in survival mode? And then where is it? Hey, Lena. Hey, friend. And where is it that you are actively taking that loving daily action towards thriving? Hey, friend, just putting it out there on Periscope again. I got 2 live streams going, but if anybody wants to pop over to YouTube, the link is on my Periscope profile. So, but I'm so glad you're here. Just so you know, right? So I'm communicating this way. It looks like I'm talking to myself. So I want to celebrate you, Wanda. You are doing a great job, my friend. Beautiful job. Beautiful job. So, and just like you said, feeling less shame when we have those hard feelings is huge. It's huge, right? For how long? Show of hands, okay. Who here has felt just being like, felt shameful for even just having feelings, right? That to have feelings that felt so overwhelming and explosive, there's something wrong with me. So that was me for a long, long time. You're so sweet, Wanda. It is an honor and a privilege to walk this journey with you. Absolutely is. Yes, you are so fierce in your recovery, and I celebrate you every single day, my friend. Yes, thank you, Rachel. Both hands up. I hear you. And again, right, that's where we are so hard on ourselves. Here we are trying to express our hard feelings, and on the other side of it, we are like being hard on ourselves for having our feelings. It's like, oh my goodness, we can't win, right? So Rachel says, oh, you're so sweet, Wanda. Rachel says, thank you, Svava. I so needed to be reminded that I'm right where I should be. Many times I feel pressure to be further along than I am on many levels with my healing, my goals, etc. I hear you, friend. I hear you, Rachel. And we live in a world that is constantly beating us up and throwing stuff at us that we aren't this enough and that enough or good enough or this way or that way or going or acting or being or buying or, you know, it's like, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. So the most courageous thing that you will do, my friend, is to just right here, right now, in this moment. Yeah, I'm exactly where I should be. I accept myself fully right here, right now. Right? Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow isn't here yet. So instead of using all this energy that you have to enjoy yourself and who you are right here, right now, let's not let the mind go into planning mode, worry mode about tomorrow, because you really can't do anything about it until tomorrow. But the more we work on being here, right now, the more prepared we are, the more rested, right? The more intentional we are about handling what life brings us from this moment, always just in this moment, and then this moment, and then this moment. Because this is really the only place we can make some choices. Am I going to take a right or am I going to take a left in this moment only? So thank you, Rachel. We all need those reminders. We all need those reminders. And that's that delicate balance, right? We're setting a goal, right? We're working towards something, but that can't take away from the moment. There's that balance. Yeah, I know where I'm going, but this is where I am. And these are the steps getting there. And to trust the process, that sometimes the next stepping stone shows up when you realize, I'm ready, I'm done. This one, I have mastered this skill, right? I'm ready to step into another unknown. I'm willing to step out of my comfort zone. I'm willing to challenge myself. I'm willing to grow. I'm willing to see what's on the other side here. And just when we do, things, you, yourself, your wisdom, everything that you need shows up when we take that risk, right? And I know for survivors, we are very risk adverse, right? It's all about staying safe. It's all about staying safe, and honor that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's important, actually. Very, very important. So thank you, Wanda. Thank you, friend. And here is Rob. Rob is sharing with us his comments. He says, I take a broad view from when I first arrived here to now. It's a massive improvement from victim to survivor and occasionally thriver, in a 2 steps forward, 1 step back type of progression. So steadily moving forward with peaks and troughs. Yes, absolutely. You are, my friend Rob. You are. He goes on to say, winter is always tough, but now I'm looking after myself. Healthy eating and exercise, but biggest stuck scenario is still around confidence, around people. I still want to go swimming, but it's a massive ADHD style wall of obstacles defeating me. I hear you, my friend. I hear you. I want to celebrate you, my friend. You have come a long ways. You have come a long ways, Rob. And understandably, going into crowds is scary for you. Understandably, right? So if you can apply self-compassion to that part of you who does not want to have anything to do with being out and around groups of people, right? To be mindful of that for yourself and remind your body, hey, sweet body, I know why, I understand, but I am here now. I am here now. I am doing my best, hey friend, to protect us, to protect you. How does that sound, Rob? Hey, Periscope friends. I got my YouTube friends on here too, so glad you're here. Glad you're here. So honor your body where it's at. Good, good, Rob. He says, I don't hardly smoke, rarely drink. I'm drug-free and eating well and exercising. But yeah, crowds can be an issue. I'm doing that talk to myself, definitely. Yes, exactly. You're doing a beautiful job. You're doing a beautiful job. Yes, honor the progress. Exactly. Remember how far you've come. And it's important to, right, to remind ourselves there is a reason why this is hard. Doesn't mean you're stuck or you're wallowing in it, right? There's a reason why this is hard. There's a reason why there is resistance. There's a reason why your body doesn't feel safe doing this. So what can you do to honor your body, right? Safety first, safety first. Exactly. He says, with you and all your help. Yes, right? Remind your body as you head out, perhaps, it's like, I hear you, I feel you, I know why you're here, I know why you don't feel safe out there. But I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, and I'm going to do my best to look out for you, to keep you safe. Thank you, Wanda. Wanda says, I feel you, Rob. As quiet as it's kept, I struggle with crowds or going where I don't know the people. Yes. Anybody else? Show of hands. Show of hands. I can be that way too. I don't like to be out there with lots of big crowds. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Exactly. Exactly. So honor that. I doubt it, my friend. Let's see here. Is it Franco? Franco is asking, how do I get rid of toxic friends? So friends, can we give, is it Franco? Periscope really needs to make the font bigger. Or I need to put reading glasses on top of my contact lenses to see it. So what suggestions can we give to our friend that is trying to get rid of some toxic friends? That's a challenge, isn't it? It is. Once we recognize, right? It's not good for our mental health sometimes to be around people that are toxic. Can you quietly bow out of gatherings? Simply not go to hang out with those people, find some other friends to hang out with, to be with. Wanda says, I just stopped communicating with them. That's an option too. That's an option too. But it's important once we recognize, yeah, I don't like to hang out with these people or this person. Not good for me, right? Find your way. Sharon says here, I moved 1,400 miles to get rid of a toxic family. Oof. Yeah, I hear you, Sharon. And Rob says, boundaries again, and just say, I hear what you're saying, and I can see why you might think that, and I don't get deeply involved in their games. I hear you, Rob. I'm with you, Rob. It's just when you recognize that there's sometimes no discussing certain things with people, then you just, you nod and slowly exit. Rachel says, you can try to talk to them about how they have hurt you, but if they don't change, you have to walk away. Excellent, Rachel. Excellent. Yep. Gray rocks. All right. Great advice. Great advice. And, maybe start exploring making new friends, right? You go and start to make new friends. Let's see. Rachel also commented here earlier. That's the worst. Walking into a party where you don't really know folks, so intimidating. Yes, I hear you. It definitely can be. It can be. So do what you got to do. If you are showing up to support a friend who's maybe hosting or something, make a showing. At least maybe show up. But if you don't want to stick around, it's okay to take care of you first. Do what you got to do for you. Do what you got to do for you. So I hope that helped you. I hope that helped. So I also just wanted to give you guys, I really appreciate the sharing here, my friends. But I also just wanted to give you a couple of examples because then this was helpful for me when I wasn't sure where I was. on the different stages. But the stages kind of, there is some signs, right? Some habits, some way that we're thinking and speaking when we are in certain stages. And so I'm going to share a couple of examples with you guys because we have a few more minutes here. Thank you, Wanda. I will. You're so sweet. I will tell her you said hi. And Rachel says, I think keeping a toxic person in your life is abusive to yourself. Got to protect yourself and surround yourself with kind people. Absolutely, Rachel. Absolutely. I've said it here before, and I will probably say it again. I am fiercely protective of my inner circle. I have worked way too hard to get all the crazies out of my life, right? Growing up with so much abuse and trauma and crazy that nope, I don't put up with that anymore. And so I'm cautious, right? When I get to meet new people and who I hang out with. And literally it's, it's not that I'm judging people, but I'm very selective about who I hang out with. And I'd say in a good way. They have to be kind and loving and goofy, not to take themselves too seriously. I really cannot do that anymore. So I agree with you, Rachel. Absolutely. Because, right, if we hang out with toxic people, right, it maybe was something that was normal and we put up with when we were younger and we had to put up with. But now we can do something about it, right? And it doesn't mean it's always easy, but we need to speak up and stand up for ourselves. Set those boundaries. Yes. We're getting some agreements here on Periscope. So here are the stages from victim to survivor and thriver. And just remember, if you just jumped in here and are just hearing this, I really emphasized in the beginning talking about it's important that we stop and identify, right? You're not a victim, but you were victimized, right? We rush over to declaring I'm a survivor. I'm not a victim. Fine, that's okay. It's important. We want to feel hopeful and feel like we're moving on our journey, but we cannot skip the stage of being acknowledging that we were victimized. So here are some suggestions. Someone who is kind of stuck in the victim phase, and that there's a difference, right? Being in, I'm accepting I was victimized, I'm feeling my hurt, I'm accepting it, or I am stuck in it. Like I am the victim, period, in everything in my life, right? So someone who's a victim believes and thinks and maybe talks about that they don't deserve nice things or trying for the good life, right? Someone who is, in the survivor stage is struggling for reasons and chance to heal. That would be the survivor. And then the thriver, he is grateful, has gratitude for everything in life. Can you guys see the difference, right? On the good life, the victim doesn't just feel like they deserve even trying for the good life. Just bad things happen to me. It doesn't matter what I try, right? It's just stuck in that cycle. And that's very real. And it sure happens. But it's important that we identify, I'm stuck in this victim mentality, right? I need to, part of surviving is moving out of that, right? I may be struggling with reasons, right? And a chance to heal, but I'm trying. I am working. I'm intending. I'm working towards it. And I've moved past thinking that I don't deserve it, right? Maybe a little bit of that there, but still, right? I'm going back. I'm doing the dance. As a thriver, I have gratitude for everything in my life. Everything. And I can honestly say, my friends, today on my healing journey, there is nothing, right? I wouldn't change anything. Not a single thing. Would I wish my life on other people? No. But all of it has contributed to who I am and brought me to the place where I am at today. And I love who I am today. Still work in progress? Always, yes, because I love to grow and learn and evolve and challenge myself. But I'm grateful for all of it. So another example is someone that is here. I'm choosing one here. Feels selfish. Someone that feels selfish. That's definitely, maybe a sign of someone being stuck in the victim stage. And when you start working towards surviving, you recognize, I deserve to seek help. I deserve, and recognize the person deserves to seek help. And as a thriver, you're proud of healthy self-caring and recognize, right, that reaching out for help is an important part of the healing journey. And you pride yourself or feel good about the facts of the things that you can do for yourself, for your own caring. And you recognize it's not being selfish at all. It is you taking responsibility for your life now. One more thing is that as a victim, you feel damaged. As a survivor, you name what happened, right? This is what happened to me. As a thriver, you recognize, I was wounded and I am now healing. So I hope that was maybe gave you a little insight. For me, I was always looking for kind of the stages or the steps or the roadmaps that helped my logical brain, kept my left brain happy. So, but again, it's important to recognize, yes, while where you are right here, right now is exactly where you need to be, is right here. And so shooting ourselves, thinking we should be doing something else or be somewhere different, it's not helpful. Not helpful at all. So let's see here. Rob says, I'm with you on that front in certain ways. The outlook I have is special and earned the hard way for sure. I hear you, Rob. I hear you. I hear you. Right? Because, and it's exactly, yes, we are all on our healing journey, and I'm proud of us all for sticking with it. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Right? I mean, I look around me, my friends, I'm looking at you. Yes, you and you, right? And all I see are these beautiful, courageous souls. I don't see what happened to you. Yes, it was tough. Yes, it was hard. Yes, it was horrible. And I'm deeply, deeply sorry. And I wish I could do something to make it all go away. But that's not who you are. That's not who you are. Not even close. So I see the truth of who you are. Your beautiful, beautiful hearts. Your magical spirits. Your courage. Your strengths. Yes, You meet an above average bunch on this journey. Exactly, Rob. Exactly. Right? I have met the most amazing people on this healing journey that I wouldn't have met. And most of the people that I know in this world that, that I want to hang out with are survivors of all kinds of hardships, right? That have been through some dark days. But because of it, they also know the value of celebrating, right? What we do have, the good days. So I am proud of each and every one of you, my friends. And I'm so grateful for every time that you guys show up here to share and support and validate each other. It's really, you lift each other up. And it's a privilege, true privilege, to get to be here and to be with you all. So I am so grateful for you. So thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for sharing with each other. I hope you go do something fun this weekend. Practice some mindfulness. Come back into the present moment. Do something that sparks joy. You guys know what I mean. You know what I mean. But thank you, thank you, thank you. And on that note, of course, the card I drew for us was perfect. One day she woke up and infused joy to her life. So I don't know who needed to see this today, but here it is. Thanks, Wanda. Thanks, Rob. Thanks, friends. Have a beautiful weekend. And if all goes well, I hope I'm here with you guys on Tuesday. See you next time. Bye, friends. All right. We'll hope you get some rest, Sharon. Have a good weekend.